Act natural. Hear it. Hear it.
A-N-G to S-I-T, J-N-U-2-K-E-T, bearing off to Admiralty, Q-U-2-K-A-K-E, Hunter took a walk, and over the Knockity, hip-hop proper from Alaskan property. Proper hip-hop, across the stage, drop a drum kit, baseline to elevate, sipping some heat, cause I speak that Tlingit, man. We underground, son, can you feel the turf shake? Bass thumping harder than the Anchorage earthquake, mixed with content specific to persuade, prolifically direct with intent to demonstrate, connect the AK at once to collaborate. Here in Southeast, said we made to irrigate our fate, relate to the Ville by eating fresh food, gum boots and herring eggs, trolling for the kings, hella bit on skates. True, click it to the day I die. Look me in my third eye, I'm spreading native pride. Hip-hop is very much still alive, long as the sun keeps shining and the moon pulls the tide. A-N-G to S-I-T, J-N-U-2-K-E-T, bearing off to Admiralty, Q-U-2-K-A-K-E, Hunter took a walk, and over the Knockity, hip-hop proper from Alaskan property.
When an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, I'm the product, the verbal narcotic. Criticism isn't gonna stop me spitting. Listen, I'm consistent, forget resisting my diction. It's a contradiction. You like it, admit it, I've been putting in work. Give me my credit, if you ain't got credit, I also take debit. The label is illegal, but it's legal, get it? You could be the judge, I'll just present it. The case for the defense, you could hand out the sentence. Guilty as charged, this eagle's a menace. Have the bailiff remove him from the premises, put his beat machine with the rest of the evidence. Give his last sentiments to his family and relatives. He's sickly ill, and society's malevolent. On to the next, we got Alaska to represent.
A-N-G to S-I-T, J-N-U-2-K-E-T, bearing off to Admiralty, Q-U-2-K-A-K-E, Hunter took a walk, and over the Knockity, hip-hop proper from Alaskan property.
Serving the earth since it first gave birth. Wreck a rhyme, wreck a reason for what it's worth. Never came to satisfy, just came to put in work and help others in the process to get big like dirt. The struggle that's testing your understanding of a plan that's dominance, and I see emails and both of all your every little toke. No joke, it's real as gun smoke. Who's choking on the roads, got him on the rope of dope. Who's got the antidote, get him a coke. Words Alaska's rapping, skills unmasking, life problem tackling, illegal label crafting. Have you heard the album? From every angle smashing, artists in the rapping. I'm taking it around the bend, the trend, the twin of Eminem. I haven't been, it's simple but it's complicated. Keep it straight and then get native, write the beats and then get faded.
A-N-G to S-I-T, J-N-U-2-K-E-T, bearing off to Admiralty, Q-U-2-K-A-K-E, Hunter took a walk, and over the Knockity, hip-hop proper from Alaskan property.
While you out selling on the streets to feed, I'm out hunting mine, always coming back with me. Climbing mountains, passing the peaks, crossing rivers with extra tufts that has a leak. I'm so ill, eagle living, you could call me felony. Breaking so many laws from what the homies are telling me. Apparently I don't know wrong from right, but one thing I do know, we sound good on the mic. Giving you more licks than a lifetime dyke. We got them lesbian Eskimos you could call a Klondike. Don't worry cause we're hunters, so our guns in sight. And watch them squawk like a raven and watch them take flight. It's already on my DM if them haters wanna hate, cause I'll knock the gumboots off the reef, they got something to say. So take this as a warning when we say we don't play, cause we're blessed and gifted when we rip it. Una AK.
A-N-G to S-I-T, J-N-U-2-K-E-T, bearing off to Admiralty, Q-U-2-K-A-K-E, Hunter took a walk, and over the Knockity, hip-hop proper from Alaskan property.
This is the mouth to Anan Creek. It's located about 35 miles south of Wrangell, and it's becoming an increasingly popular spot in July and August for Southeast residents and visitors to Southeast who are coming through on boats. Hello, I'm Scott Foster. Welcome to Rain Country. Anan has got a salmon run in it, like many Southeast streams, and because the salmon are here, there are also bears here. But Anan has got a couple of special features that make this a very special Southeast location.
It's a unique combination of physical and natural occurrences. You know, we've got the creek here, the lagoon, with the cascade fairly close to salt water, so with the access that's relatively easy along a half-mile trail, so that you can walk in. The fish kind of get pooled a little bit there, and the bears come down and find easy picking.
Anan Creek is on the mainland and managed by the Forest Service. It's accessible only by boat or plane. Visitors will find well-developed facilities. There's a public-use Forest Service cabin at the mouth of the creek, a well-constructed trail leading to the viewing area, and a large wooden observatory deck with a rain shelter. Kipley Prescott is the observatory interpreter.
Last year, our average visitor, our typical visitor, was someone from the West Coast. They were between the ages of 25 and 50. They came to observe bears. They stayed about an hour and a half, and that was their primary activity. And a lot of them, most of them came on personal vessels. You made it! Did you guys see any bears on the trail? No, I don't know. No?
Yeah, nice smell.
Many cruising through Southeast hear about Anan from other boaters or are on tours and stop in for a short visit. Others have heard about Anan from different sources and plan to stay for a week.
We're here to photograph black bears. This is a unique concentration of black bears in the United States, in fact, all of North America. It's a very good place to come for photographing them because of the concentration and because of the habitat. It's a rainforest habitat, and it's one of the few places where you can come and find black bears fishing salmon.
Have you been here before? No, I've never been here before. Oh, okay, then that's a good place. This is a good spot to watch. They'll also come out right here by this fence and walk down here, go right down there, and in that pool of, can you see the fish down in there? They'll catch a fish in there. Sometimes they'll come right here and sit and eat.
So what's this bear doing now?
He's, a lot of times you see this, they come out, especially come out from a cave, and they'll stand out there and sniff around, and then they'll look around behind them and up the hillside. And I think, you never know what's going through a bear's mind, but I think, he's looking for other bears and making sure the coast is clear to go down and try to get a fish. There's a lot of variation in what they do, and an older, more dominant bear, I've noticed that they spend a lot less time looking around, and they seem a lot less concerned about other bears being around. A lot of bears will come down, catch a fish, go on a rock. There's a lot of caves, and places where they can hide out and eat their fish. So generally that's the behavior pattern.
Viewing wild animals is one of Southeast's big attractions. But as more people gather in prime viewing areas, their presence starts affecting the animals. And that starts affecting the land managers.
The first thing that we consider is the impact on the animals by the increased number of people, and then what things can we do as managers, either through facilities engineering or through regulation or through education, to lessen the impact on the bears from the people that would like to come here. We would like to permit as number of people to come here and view bears as possible with the minimum amount of impact on the bears, and that's a big bill to fill.
The number of visitors to Anan has been increasing. It's a trend that's expected to continue.
Well, the word of Anan's going to spread whether we encourage it or not. It is a resource that's on the public land of the United States. The people have the right to come and use that resource and view the bears, and it's our opportunity as managers to educate them in a way that is less impact on the land and less impact on the animals. How do we educate people when they step off their boats there at the mouth of the lagoon that they're getting into an area they need to have knowledge of bear etiquette and how to act in bear country, of not to bring their bears, not to take their dogs, not to bring food up there, how to act when they're up there, you know, that this is for the people up here and that's for the bears down there. They need to be able to do what they do, catch fish so that they can survive through the winter. If you go down there by the creek and displace them, they'll go someplace else and they won't be there for you to watch.
We'd rather people stay in here because the bears are more apt to come out when there's not people wandering around, and there's less chance of someone coming into contact and causing a problem.
This education takes place with each group visiting the observatory. In addition, the Forest Service is also conducting research.
What we use is an instantaneous behavior scan. And that means what I do is every 10 minutes, I look around the creek, look at how many bears are here, what they're doing, and how many people are here. We've noticed that visitor use has increased here, and what we'd like to find out is if there is any changes in behavior and activity with bears, and in relation to the number of people that are here, so we could implement that into our management plan.
Whatever regulations are implemented at Anan Creek will be phased in, and the Forest Service suggests visitors contact them for a list of the current rules. Managing people in this or any other popular wildlife viewing area means making choices.
There's a lot of tough questions and not too many easy answers. Everything needs to be hopefully a balance between what people need and what the bears need, and hopefully we'll err on the side of the bears because, like I say, they're the ones that would usually be killed in a human-bear encounter.
I think to some extent it's good to have an observation area like this because then people have the opportunity to see bears, and I think if they get exposed to the wildlife, they're more apt to maybe promote that worldwide and just have a better feeling for how important it is to maintain the wildlife. On the other hand, if you encourage people to come here, then also there's probably going to be fewer bears because that has to have an impact on the wildlife. So I don't know what the balance is.
The observatory offers easy views of bears across the creek. But bears also feed on the observatory side of the creek and sometimes come even closer when they eat their fish literally right beneath the viewer's feet.
The way I see it, they use the observatory as a cave, you know, like the other ones on the opposite side, and they feel, I guess, safe from other bears, and that's why they come under here. Most bears don't come under there because they're, you know, a little bit more shy than that one is of people. This is a new one. I've never seen this, and I really don't know how to explain this. So we know that they like to chew on the trail when they, you know, if you walk up the trail here, you notice that a lot of the boards on the bridges and whatnot are chewed up, and the explanation for this, I'm not sure of it, whether it just tastes good or just something to sharpen your teeth or whatever. I really don't know why they do it.
Well, when one is standing here in the fenced-in area, you get the impression that you are in a sort of a reverse zoo. The bears are watching us, and we are confined, and they are free, and it's kind of a good feeling.
The Stikine is one of several mighty rivers that connect the saltwater southeast with the interior of Canada. But like other rivers, this one in the winter isn't very usable because of the ice. But in the spring, when the ice goes out, one of the first fish that returns are the Holligan. And when the Holligan are running in the Stikine, that's a great excuse for some people in nearby Wrangell to make their first trip of the season upriver.
There's hardly any silt coming out of the river right now, so you know that the glaciers aren't melting, and it's still winter. It's not summer up here yet.
Yeah, we should get a little snow. Where's your coffee?
Right here.
We're at the start of where hopefully we're going to find some Holligan. It's high tide right now, and we have to wait for the river to drop a bit, see what's happening, or the tide to go out. From here, we'll take a look and maybe go a little bit further upriver, see if we can find some bird activity, see if we can find some Holligan.
Get up in the bow and I'll swing it in.
When the boat brings the end around and you start pulling in, and it's when you're getting the lead line, that pulling we're doing is bringing the lead line in, and in the bag at the far end, pretty soon you'll see a flash of silver, and on a good haul you'll have a nice big bag in there of Holligan, but we seem to be catching just a lot of water today. Sometimes you even have a handful of Holligan that are swimming around in it, but there was nothing there, so it seemed kind of pointless to try it there again. However, with the tide still just starting to drop, maybe the Holligan will school up. We'll take a look here. If not, the birds are working further down. We'll go down and give it another look and see if they're schooling up somewhere else. But just doesn't look very fishy yet. So keep looking. Everything was going fine, but we hit a snag. So in order to get our net back, they have to pull the net back up and around and hopefully get it clear of whatever it snagged onto. This web's about 20 years old too, so it's that's what a snag will do, right there.
That was a whale went through.
That's what you don't want to do. It's hard to know where the Holligan are. There's just not enough birds, and they're the best indicator of where the Holligan would be coming over a bar, and the birds would be picking them up if there's a big bunch of Holligan. There might be a few just floating around backing off, but it doesn't look very fishy, not by a long shot.
I wasn't seeing things. Oh, nice dolly, nice dolly. Yep.
Boy, that's a dandy.
Yeah, it is.
So our net was fishing good, it's just there's no Holligan.
No Holligan, but a big trout. God, maybe I should have thrown my clump of eggs overboard, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dinner.
Dinner, yeah, okay. These are the fish we're trying to find today. They seem to be elusive, but we're at the tail end of the run, so it's hard to say whether we'll get any today. And a lot of natural oil. These have been in the smokehouse already. They're real fine for eating. They're a real delicacy. People like them, and they kind of grow on you. You start eating them, pulling the head off, and pretty soon you want another one and another one, and that's it. Yeah.
They had no, they're just.
Yeah, these are a little bit frozen yet, so.
Wow,
I guess it's not that warm out today if they're not thawing. course, we knew coming up that today that the run started early this year in March, and so coming up here just hoping we'd find something. But it can be real disappointing. You put a lot of effort into it, and everybody in town's waiting for the feast, so when you come into town with no hooligan, everybody's disappointed. But you just keep it in mind when you're fishing and just try to do the best you can with it and try to keep it fun. That's what we try to do anyway.
Hey, you want to drive any of these? You can on Sunday, May 21st. That's when the Juneau Rotary Club is sponsoring its second annual Heavy Equipment Day. Thanks to some wonderful businesses and heavy equipment operators, you can ride with trained professionals and test what it takes to master the trade. Come on out to Grants Plaza on Sunday, May 21st between 10 and 5 and feel the power.
It's okay to say no to drugs because you're not the only one they'll hurt. It'll mess up your friendship. You're too cool to start smoking. It slows you down in school. It will stop you from playing sports in school.
Don't smoke pot to be hot.
I've got a message for you. Go back to school as a volunteer.
As a volunteer?
You can help your neighbors. Make people smile. And explore your interests.
To be a volunteer in your community, contact the organization of your choice.
What's your dream? Music in the Mix at the Mendenhall Mall. Yeah, that's the gig.
of my eyes. Sleepy gaze is paradise. Let's lay around and discuss our dreams. The options are endless. Let's see what this day may bring. Oh, yes. Let's go.
This is Alaska. And on the waters bordering her 34,000 miles of coastline, you won't find a lot of the things that make life a little more comfortable. No long sit-down meals, lazy Sunday afternoons, no predictable 8-hour days, or full nights of sleep. Nope. You'd have a hard time finding any of those things out here. But what you will find is the finest, most sought-after seafood in the world, and lots of it. And for the folks who head out here day after day, that in itself is comfort enough. Alaska seafood, far and away the world's finest.
Hi, I'm Chef Gary Butts, the seafood steward, and I'm here to show you how to enjoy your favorite Alaska seafood at home. Now, some of you may be a little intimidated when it comes to buying and preparing quality seafood, but believe me, there's no need to worry. In the next several minutes, I'll give you great tips for selecting quality seafood, show you how simple it is to prepare, and give you some tasty seafood recipes that take only minutes to cook. So what's the first step in preparing a great seafood dish? Well, it's simple. Start with the finest seafood, Alaska seafood. As far as I'm concerned, the strongest argument for eating seafood at home is its incredible taste. But there are still many people who are intimidated by the idea of preparing it themselves. Preparing seafood at home is quick and it's easy once you know a few simple tips. Another reason is seafood is good for your health. We're all concerned about fat these days, but luckily for us seafood lovers, the fats contained in seafood consist mainly of unsaturated fats that are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. Research has shown that this type of fat can play a dramatic role in preventing things like heart disease. Some studies have even indicated that omega-3s may help prevent arthritis and migraine headaches. So, seafood tastes good, it's quick and it's easy to prepare, and it's healthy. But what makes Alaska seafood so much better? First of all, Alaska seafood grows and develops in the North Pacific, the Gulf of Alaska, and the Bering Sea. Life in these cold, pristine waters makes for firmer, better-tasting seafood. The men and women who fish the waters of Alaska also guarantee the quality of the seafood they catch through proper care and handling. They harvest the seafood at its peak to ensure its fresh-caught flavor. Then the seafood is immediately taken to local processors to keep the time between catch and processing down to a matter of hours. While the waters of Alaska provide some of the most productive fishing grounds in the world, strict management guarantees that future generations will continue to enjoy the superior flavor of Alaska seafood. This is but a small sample of the variety and abundance of Alaska seafood. There are 5 different species of salmon harvested in Alaska. There's king or Chinook salmon, sockeye, which is also known as red, coho or silver salmon, plus pink and chum salmon. Other Alaska seafoods include halibut, pollock, cod, crabs such as king crab, snow, and Dungeness, plus other forms of shellfish including prawns, razor clams, and dynamite oysters. And how can you be certain it's from Alaska? Well, it's simple. Just ask for Alaska seafood by name. The most important consideration when selecting seafood has to be the determination of quality, because that's what we're concerned with, isn't it? Quality. And in making that determination, let's not overlook frozen seafood. Now, to meet the needs of their customers, Alaska seafood processors have developed a flash freezing technique that locks in all the quality and taste so that you can enjoy that fresh caught flavor the year round. Let's eliminate from our vocabulary the words fresh and frozen. And instead, let's focus on quality. Now, to determine quality, you need to rely on all your senses. For example, if you opt for a whole-bodied fish, make sure you take into consideration traditional measures of quality. Make sure that the scales are mostly intact, that the fins and the tail aren't frayed and all beat up, that the flesh has a firm and resilient touch, and that the smell is clean and fresh like a spring day at the beach. Now, once you've selected high-quality Alaska seafood, you'll want to keep it that way. So if possible, bring one of these, a small cooler, to keep your seafood in while you shop. And if that's not convenient, just stop at the seafood counter first and have them wrap up your order with a little bit of ice and keep it chilled until you've finished your shopping. This is also a great time to make any special requests. For example, if you want your fish cut into smaller portions, or if you want a whole fish filleted, a quality market can usually do it for you while you're shopping. Keep in mind, you'll have better luck with your special request if you make it during non-peak hours. The keys to maintaining the highest quality are fast freezing and slow thawing. Modern technology has provided us with the best means to freeze seafood known as blast or flash freezing. Now, I'm not going to get too technical, but this means the fish is frozen very rapidly in its freshest state. Now, if you've purchased your seafood still frozen, the way to maintain its quality is to thaw it slowly. This is best accomplished by placing it in a shallow pan in your refrigerator overnight. You know what's a constant source of amazement to me? It's the number of kitchen gadgets we all end up purchasing, but so few kitchens actually have a good sharp knife. You're going to enjoy cooking seafood even more if you have the proper tools. And this is the place to start. Nothing fancy or excruciatingly expensive, just these. This is a 10-inch scimitar, and as far as I'm concerned, the curve of the blade and the flexibility make it just about perfect for filleting fish. Here's another option. It's called a French knife or a chef's knife. It's the perfect utility knife. They're both available just about anywhere. Cooking stores, department stores. You might even want to stop by a restaurant supply house. Now, if you're going to cut a whole-bodied fish into steaks or cutting smaller portions from a large fillet, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. But many people tell me that they don't think that they can fillet a fish by themselves. And that's absolute nonsense because it's actually quite easy. First, you start with a whole-bodied fish. When I fillet a salmon, I always like to start with the head towards my primary hand. Well, I'm right-handed, so the head's got to go towards my right hand. So we're going to turn the fish around, and then next, I like to take my index finger and put it inside the collar with my middle finger behind the pectoral fin. The pectoral fin, by the way, is this fin called, or sometimes called, the arm fin. This gives me complete control of the fish. Next, I'm going to take the scimitar and rest it on the backbone, and literally all I'm going to do is slide the knife down the length of the fish, kind of like this. There. That's all there is to it. We'll set this aside. Now we're going to remove the collar and the ribs. First, the collar and the pectoral fin come off, and then we're going to remove the ribs. And the principle is exactly the same as when we cut the side from the backbone, only this time, rather than the knife resting down on the bone, we're going to hold it up underneath the ribs, like so. Sliding the knife underneath the ribs, folding the ribs over, and one cut. There. And with the removal of the ribs, we've also removed the peritoneum, or the peritoneal lining. That's this plastic-like looking stuff. Now, with this removed, we're going to end up with a sweeter, a milder, a better tasting piece of fish. Next, we're going to remove the pin bones. The pin bones are another set of ribs that go directly into the muscle along here, going about 2/3 of the way from the head to the tail. And if we take the knife and run it down towards the head, towards the tail, stands those bones up, then we can take a pair of needle nose pliers, grab a hold of the bone, like so, and simply pull the bone out like this. Now, there are 12 or 14 bones, and we can run down here with the needle nose pliers and pull them out all one at a time. Next, we're going to remove the skin. And to remove the skin, we're going to notch the tail end of the fish, cutting down to the skin, being careful not to cut clear through the skin. This gives us a little handle, something to hang on to. Then we're going to slide the knife between the flesh and the skin, and it's kind of a dual motion. I'm going to be pulling back with my left hand and forward with my right. And that's all there is to it. A perfect fillet of boneless and skinless Alaska chum salmon. And remember, it's 5% experience, 5% talent, and 90% a good sharp knife. Okay, now let's get started with some basic cooking rules for Alaska seafood. The first three are: do not overcook seafood, do not overcook seafood, and do not overcook seafood. Now, I don't know how or why we got in the habit of overcooking seafood, but did you know that a huge portion of the seafood consumed on this planet is eaten raw? No, I'm not suggesting we start eating raw fish, but let's be reasonable. Allow approximately 10 minutes of cooking time per inch of thickness. That means about 5 minutes per side if you plan on turning the fish. And portions like this, about 6 to 8 ounces, are just about perfect. Next, if during cooking you plan to turn your seafood, always start with the skin side, or at least where the skin used to be, up. The reason is fish isolate a small layer of fat between their flesh and skin. If you're grilling or sautéing, for example, the richness of this thin layer of fat is drawn towards the heat into the fish. This keeps the fish moist and more flavorful. Another reason is when you turn the fish, you'll have the good-looking side facing up, and everything tastes better when it looks good. If you're having crab, don't re-cook it. Alaskan king crab and snow crab comes pre-cooked, so all you have to do is bring it to temperature in the oven or on the grill. There are a variety of cooking techniques for seafood. The 5 main ones are baking, broiling, poaching, sautéing, and grilling. One of my absolute favorite ways to cook Alaska seafood is on the grill, whether that's on the backyard barbecue or indoors on the kitchen grill. And the key to good grilling is to keep the seafood from sticking. Now, here are 2 easy ways to do that with mayonnaise or a potato. First, you start by heating up the grill, and you know it's hot enough when you can keep your hand 3 to 4 inches above the grill surface for 2 seconds or less. Next, take a large raw potato, cut it in half lengthwise, and rub the cut side of the potato slowly down the grill until the entire grill surface is covered. The heat leaches the starch out of the potato, covering the grill with a natural nonstick coating. Now, to further reduce the odds that your fish will stick, you can give the fish a light coating of mayonnaise. Spread it on thinly with a basting brush. In this case, I'm going to grill these 2 gorgeous 8-ounce halibut fillets with a basting sauce consisting of a mixture of 1/3 cup of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of white vermouth, 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, which adds a really exotic flavor, a teaspoon of lime zest, a rounded tablespoon of finely chopped cilantro, the same amount of fresh minced garlic, and several grinds of fresh pepper or pepper to taste. Now, we've mixed this all together, brushed it on these fillets, and now they're ready for the grill. We'll put a second coat of the baste on the top side, just like that. And about 10 minutes later, you have perfectly grilled Alaska halibut fillet. Now let's try a simple sauté. Let's make an Alaska cod piccata. We'll start with 2 cod fillets, about 6 to 8 ounces each. We'll need a little bit of olive oil, a teaspoon of butter, a tablespoon of capers, the juice from a half of a small lime, a pinch of lime zest, a dash of white vermouth, plus some coarse ground black pepper to taste. Let's begin with our sauté pan on a medium-high burner and add the oil and the butter. First the oil, and now about a teaspoon of butter. When the butter starts to bubble, it's time to add the cod. Remember, we're putting the cod in skin side up. We're going to brown this rapidly. Now we're nearing completion, having cooked the cod fillets for approximately 10 minutes. Now it's time to add the lime juice, the capers, and the lime zest. It only takes about 10 or 15 seconds to brown this off. Oh, and the fragrance is absolutely fantastic. We'll now take these and put them on our serving plate, like so, and deglaze the pan with a little bit of white vermouth. At this point, we're ready to top the fish with a really elegant sauce of capers, butter, olive oil, and a little bit of white vermouth. So, and garnish with a little bit of fresh chopped parsley, and you have an excellent sauteed Alaska cod piccata. Broiling is another cooking method we're going to talk about for preparing Alaska seafood. And in this case, we're going to use a couple of beautiful Chinook salmon fillets. Now, broiling is a fairly simple way to cook seafood. In fact, all you need to do is move your oven grate up closer to the broiler element. And it helps if you have a broiling pan like this one. As you can see, I've lined mine with aluminum foil for easy cleanup. Now, to enhance flavor, I recommend you add a basting sauce, and to keep it real simple, I'm going to use my favorite Italian salad dressing that's just loaded with garlic. That's all it takes, a good baste on each piece, and then we'll take it over to the oven, slide it right underneath the broiling element, and we're going to brown that for 3 to 5 minutes on each side. Okay, we've broiled these salmon fillets for just about 10 minutes. As you can see, it's turned out absolutely perfect since they're just about an inch thick. And there you have it, broiled Alaska Chinook salmon fillets. And finally, baking. Now here's a quick recipe for baked Alaska salmon that adds a bit of a twist, because we're going to be baking this salmon on a cedar plank. Salmon is already wonderfully rich with the flavors of the sea, but when combined with the aromatic flavor of cedar, it reaches new and glorious heights. You'll need a piece of untreated cedar that's about 3/4 to an inch thick. And the size of the plank depends on how much fish you're going to be baking. In this case, we'll be cooking 2 8-ounce fillets on a cedar plank that's about 6 by 11 inches. The salmon I'm using is coho or silver salmon, and I've basted this with a real generous coating consisting of 1 cup of mayonnaise, a heaping tablespoon each of Cajun blackening seasoning, lemon pepper, and finely minced garlic with a little dash of white vermouth. Now I'm going to take this over, put it in the oven at 400 degrees, and bake it for about 10 to 12 minutes. And here is the final glorious result. Baked Alaska coho salmon on a cedar plank. See, it's easy to cook great tasting Alaska seafood at home. All you need to do is remember a few simple things. First and most importantly, select the finest seafood, Alaska seafood. Remember, it's not fresh or frozen that counts, it's the quality. And you can rely on your sight, smell, and touch to determine top quality. Second, maintain that quality after your purchase by keeping your seafood well chilled. And remember, if your seafood is frozen, thaw it slowly overnight in your refrigerator. Third, remember the simple cooking tips. Don't overcook your seafood. Portions of 6 to 8 ounces, approximately an inch thick, should be cooked for about 10 minutes. Always start with the skin side up if you're going to turn your fish. And don't recook crab. And finally, Choose a cooking method, whether it's baking, broiling, poaching, sauteing, or grilling, that works for you and the Alaska seafood that you've selected. For more information and additional recipes for Alaska seafood, just stop by your local grocery store and pick up an Alaska seafood brochure next to our display. You can also write to me, Chef Gary Putz, and mention that you would like more information on Alaska seafood, or simply call 1-800-LOVE-SALMON. I'm Chef Gary Putz, your seafood steward. You be real good to yourself and try some Alaska seafood.
In Alaska, seafood isn't caught. It's earned. Alaska seafood. Far and away the world's finest.
Eight stars of gold on a field of blue, Alaska's flag, may it mean to you the blue of the sea, the evening sky, the mountain lakes and the flowers nearby, the gold of the early Sardow's dreams, the precious gold of the hills and streams, the brilliant stars in the northern sky, the Bear, the Dipper, and shining high, the great North Star with its day.